Hi everyone, thanks for coming back to FemLogic AI, where we teach you how to save time and automate things so that you can use that extra time to do things that bring you joy. So today I'm going to go into some more Zapier because I know you guys like that. So today I'm going to show you how I use Zapier for automations on Slack notifications and emails. So when I load events into my calendar, I also want a 24-hour or a week ahead or whatever it is, a notice to go out to my Slack channel and maybe make an email draft so that when those events come up, I can notify my team that they're coming. So specifically around my board, where I'm on a board, and I want to make sure that everybody knows the events that are coming up. So let's get started. All right, so let's get started. So I want to show you how I do this. So first, I'll go into the one that I've got created and I'll walk you through what I do here. So essentially what's happening is it's going into my Google Calendar and it's looking for a flagged event. So essentially it's looking for, I told it to look for an NTC event. And so when it sees those words, then it goes in and it creates a Slack message reminder as well as an email. But first thing I did was I went out here to my Google Calendar and I have this like NTC event here for Nashville Cocktail. Now this is a fake event that I just put in there. If you open this event, I've got it listed here. I've got the times just like you would a normal event. And then the only thing I did different on this one is I do paste the link to register and sign up for these events in the thing here. So depending on what you're using this for, I also use this same process for my daughter's doctor's appointments. So if you want to know, when I'm notifying the teachers in the school, so 24 hours before a doctor's appointment, the teacher in the school get an email saying, hey, I'll pick her up 15 minutes prior to the time, what it says. And so it automatically does all that for me. So they don't need a personalized message from me for that. They just need the information. So that's one less thing I have to do is remember to reach out to the school, let them know she's got an orthodontist appointment. I'm picking her up at 2:45. Now it's automatically done for me. So that is another way I use this, but we'll go back over here. So you see the calendar event. That's just a regular old calendar event. But for this one right here, this is for a board, and I want to make sure that people are aware that events are happening. So there are a lot of events that the Nashville Technology Council does. I can't possibly notify on all of them, but I do like to keep the major events as well as the Nashville Cocktails, which is a happy hour, as well as the Nashville Coffees, which are a morning time thing. And so I want to make sure that my ambassador board knows that those things are going on. So I go into my little Google thing here. So first thing I do is I set up a trigger, which is going to be Google. And so I'm going to click the edit button on mine here so that you can see. Maybe. Okay, so to build the Zap that's going to automatically look at your calendar and then go back and tell you, create a Slack message and a Gmail message for updating people on events, this is what you got to do. So I showed you the calendar. So you got your Google Calendar here. And this is just a regular old Google event. And so as you can see, I named it NTC event, and then I put the title on there. And so just a regular event there. So I went back over here. And so then I've got 3 pieces that are needed with this Zap. So first thing I want to have is a Google, because it's got to connect to my Google Calendar. I got to have it connect to Slack. And then I also have to connect to Gmail. So here's what I want to do. So I'm going to go in here. And the first thing I do is it's a Google Calendar. And so I want to make sure that the event is an event start. So you can click on this guy right here and it's got all kinds of different things. But what I'm wanting it to do is trigger off of the event start, right? And then I can select my calendar. So I actually want the calendar. That's what I want. So it's connecting to Google Calendar. It's going to trigger on the event start. So it's looking at my calendar and it's saying, okay, 24 hours before an event starts, I want to do that. And so let me show you where I put that in. So I connect to my account, and we already had that in there from past events. I come in here and I say, okay, I want it to connect to my calendar. I put 24 and I make sure the time is hours. And then I go in here and I put in the search term. And so I want an NTC event. So that phrasing exactly. And so if you think about this, when we used a set of rules inside of Outlook that forwarded things that had different phrasing or whatever, so I was the queen of the rules in the Outlook. So now I do it a little differently on some of these. So I've got NTC event. So when it sees that term in a calendar event, it knows that it's an event and that I want it to trigger on that. But if it's just if I just have a regular old event, a personal event, somebody's birthday, it's not going to send this Slack message out. It's only looking for that specific phrase. So it says triggers only on events containing this search term, which is what I want. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to click continue. It's going to give me a little trigger, and it's going to say, okay, perfect. I'm going to say continue with selected record. I'm going to say now, so that Gmail part, the connecting to my calendar piece is done. So now it's coming over here. The second piece is I want to send a channel message in Slack. So what I want to happen here is in Slack, so I connected to my Slack account. And if you have not done that, you can just, go in here and connect to Slack. I want to send a channel message. I'm going to click continue. I have connected to my Shauna at Sprague Slack account here with my NTC ambassadors. I'm going to click continue. And then it's going to come up here, and the channel I chose, and it gives me a list of all the channels. It's just this random channel, which if you've followed before and you've seen me do this, that's my testing channel where nothing really happens and I'm the only contributor. So then I go in here and I say, I want to create a reminder for tomorrow. And so here's what I did is I formatted this. And so this is what the message is actually going to look like in Slack. So it's going to say reminder, tomorrow is and it's going to give me the title of the event. So in my Google Calendar, if you look back over here, it's going to say tomorrow is Nash Cocktail. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to say. It's going to say event begins, and it's also going to look at my calendar because we have that information now. So if you're wondering how I get this information, and so I will go ahead and redo this so that you can see exactly how I do it. So inside of here, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say tomorrow is and so I'm going to see how it popped this down here for me, and it gave me a whole list of things that I could have. So when I click on here, it gives me a list. So I want the summary. So the summary is just that title that you put into the event. So it's going to say NTC event, Nash Cocktail. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. I'm going to click over here, and I want this to be, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I want this to be what they call the beginning date pretty. So it shows me over here, it's going to say December 1st, 2023. It's got, even the seconds, which, you could make adjustments there if you wanted to format that. But for right now, that's fine. I just want the information out there. The event ends. I, again, want to pick the, event end. So I've got the event end date. But we'll look at this one. This one's not the pretty date. So when I don't do the pretty date, it doesn't do this December 1st. It gives me something else. So I'm going to go back because that's not really what I want. So I'll keep scrolling down on my little thing here until I find end date pretty. There it is, end date pretty. Maybe not. Okay, let's try this again. All right, so and we go in here and then we go up to the top. And what I'm looking for is end date pretty. There we go. That's what I want. So like I said, you can play around with this to get it the way you want. If there's other information in your event, that you may want in there, if it's a birthday party, bring gifts, don't bring gifts, something like that. I always like to have the location, even though for my Nashville Technology Council events, a lot of them are at the Nashville Technology Council, but just to be sure, because there are other locations we use. And then register here. So then I want to go in here and I want to get my description where I pasted in the link. And so I'm going to go in here and find my description. And as you can see, there's all kinds of events here, information you can put in there. So you can put in here, I saw that there was duration. You can put organizer's email, whatever information you want in here. But this is what I want in my Slack message. So I typed in these pieces right here, and then I put, hope to see you all there. Bring a friend or bring your whole team. So the idea behind this Slack message is I want them to be encouraged to come to the event and potentially bring more people, at least bring awareness around it. So I've got it right there. So perfect. So now I can X out of that because I don't need that right now. I'm just going to leave this right here as send as bot. Yes, and I named my bot NTC event reminder. And so I'm not going to add a little icon. If you want to, you can make a cute little icon and put it in there. For right now, I'm just going to skip that. I'm going to say include a link in a Zap, and I'm going to say yes. And so it's going to say, all right, it's going to add the link in there. And so you can actually add in a specific image or URL if you want to. I'm going to skip all that stuff, go all the way down here because I don't want to schedule this. I don't want to add files or attachments. So I'm just going to say continue. And I'm going to make sure that it works. And so as with all of the Zap stuff, you have to make sure it says, it's got a little check mark. Okay, so that worked. So we got a little green check mark here over on our Slack, which is great. So then it comes over to email. And so the reason why I'm doing both the Slack and emails, because not everybody's checks Slack regularly. It's my go-to. You can get me anytime on Slack. However, not everybody does that. And also we can run into, because it's a board and there are many companies coming in and many company email addresses, sometimes the companies filter and won't allow these Slacks from other organizations like the NTC come in. So you have to work around that. So you do have to send emails. So we're going to send both just to make sure our message gets across because it's very important, right? So I've connected. I said I want to connect to Gmail. I'm going to create a draft. And so there's a lot of options in here where you can add a label. I want to create a draft because I actually want to be the one to hit send because I want to make sure it looks okay before I do anything, right? You could just have it just go ahead and send out the email. That's completely up to you. But I want to do a draft just for now because I like to make sure in case I want to add anything else. I realized I'd posted the same stuff on Slack, but I just want to show you that you could either send it out automatically as an email, or you can put it in a draft, which I use a lot because sometimes I'm not as trusting with the messages automatically going out. So on this one, I did connect to my mccreations615@gmail.com account because I want to send this message to my personal account, the shaunasprague@gmail.com. And I can't do both. So it didn't allow me to both send and receive from the same email address. So I just had to choose a different. Not a big deal, but just want to make you aware in case you have that. So we got check marks all the way. So coming back in here, I'm going to again show you how I did this. So in the subject, I want it to be from the event, Google Calendar event. So notice you have your Slack event too. I would still go back to the original, what I call source of truth here, and make sure that you've got what you're looking for. I'm going to expand this out and I'm going to choose the summary because I just want the subject line to be this event. It doesn't have to be super fancy. I could put in a reminder, NTC events. That works too. And click out of that. I want to say to, and this is where it gave me a little issue earlier where I was trying to put it to, and I just wanted to, for this demonstration purposes, I wanted to send it to myself. So when I went in here, I want to say to, and I'm going to say creator of the email, which is me. So that's fun. All right, creator of the email. And then I want to go in here and I can enter as many 2 lines as I want. I don't want to put in the entire board's email addresses in here for this demonstration. So right now I'm just sending it to me. I could have also gone in here and just said, shaunasprague@gmail.com. Voila. There we go. Same thing. It will accept that as well. So doing that, I could put carbon copies or blind carbon copies. I could say it's from, and it's automatically defaulting to MC Creations, which is great. So like I said, it did not like when I did the to and the from as the same email address. So we made adjustments. All right. So from name, I pulled it in as Shauna. Now you could, right now, you could go into your event calendar here and you could put your from name as, something else if you wanted to. I just have it plain, and I just copied what I had in the Slack message and pasted it right in here. So I didn't do anything new to it. I just put it all in there exactly like that because that's all I really want is the message. And so because it's an email, I will probably pretty this up a little bit and say, put this at the top. And I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to put that at the top, maybe, if I pull it out right. Okay. All right, so I'm going to copy, I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to go to the top here. I'm going to paste that in. I'm going to say, hope to see you there. I'm going to say, good morning, team. I can just put in a message here. I Actually, I'm going to put that at the bottom like it was. I'm going to make sure the body is plain. Now you could do HTML. That's totally fine. For right now, I'm just going to do this guy right here. Again, I'm going to put him back at the bottom, and I'm going to say, hello, team. And then I'm just going to say, reminder, tomorrow is this event. So they see this as well. So it's going to go through here. I'm going to click over to the side here so I can go down. It does give me the option to put in a signature. I can choose a mailbox label, attachments. I'm just going to leave it like that because all I really want is that message to get across. So I'm going to continue. And so it shows me a little example of, hello, reminder, tomorrow is, and it's got test event. So, all right, let's see what we got. There we go. Perfect. All right. So let's see if that worked. So now let's go over to our Slack channel. All right, so when I go back over here to test and see if it works, I do have a draft in my email. Actually, I have several because you can see I was playing with it. And so it comes through and it says, reminder, this is a test event. It says shaunasprague@gmail.com. Reminder, this is an event. It says, all right, tomorrow. Now, before this got started, I did set up one that I want to make sure you saw that my Nash cocktail one did. I set it up for 11 a.m. when I was going to lunch so that I could finish this up. And so I set a reminder, tomorrow is the NTC event. Nash cocktail begins here. All right. So, and then I do have a link in here. So it does not look like my HTML link is coming through. So I will play around with that. But I did want to show you this is how you're going to get this stuff. So this exact same message did come across on Slack. For some reason, my Slack's not working right now. But I will show you that this did work. It came through. It's great. And so from here, I can just send it on. So I can add in all the recipients that I want and send it on out. So it's got it in here. But first, I would go in here and I would, message it. I would probably piddle around with it. I would get rid of the href here. So as you can see, it's not really working anyway. And so then when I exit off of that, it should work. And so then I go over here. And so I want to make sure this is a hyperlink. So I'm going to Control-C. So this is why I do like to make sure that when I'm doing this stuff that I can make sure it's a link. So I'm going to link it in here. I'm going to say register here, and I'm going to put the web address in here. And I'm going to click OK. And so that's what I want. So then I'm just going to delete all this stuff around it. And so that's a good thing that I did test it out in my drafts. And so I can get rid of this register here. And there we go. It came through. All right, so I can click send. And I don't have any recipients, so I'll make myself a recipient. There, found me. And I'm going to click send. And there we go. It's off and running, and it's going to be in my folder. So that, in a nutshell, is how you create this, where it's going to post on both Slack and create a drafts in your email. Or like I said, you could just make it automatic. So one less thing I have to do every day. Yay! All right, so when I go back over here to test and see if it works, I do have a draft in my email. Actually, I have several because you can see I was playing with it. And so it comes through and it says, reminder, this is a test event. It says shaunasprague@gmail.com. Reminder, this is an event. It says, all right, tomorrow. Now, before this got started, I did set up one that I want to make sure you saw that my Nash cocktail one did. I set it up for 11 a.m. when I was going to lunch so that I could finish this up. And so I set a reminder, tomorrow is the NTC event. Nash cocktail begins here. All right. So, and then I do have a link in here. So it does not look like my HTML link is coming through. So I will play around with that. But I did want to show you this is how you're going to get this stuff. So this exact same message did come across on Slack. For some reason, my Slack's not working right now. But I will show you that this did work. It came through. It's great. And so from here, I can just send it on. So I can add in all the recipients that I want and send it on out. So it's got it in here. But first, I would go in here and I would, message it. I would probably piddle around with it. I would get rid of the href here. So as you can see, it's not really working anyway. And so then when I exit off of that, it should work. And so then I go over here. And so I want to make sure this is a hyperlink. So I'm going to Control-C. So this is why I do like to make sure that when I'm doing this stuff that I can make sure it's a link. So I'm going to link it in here. I'm going to say register here, and I'm going to put the web address in here, and I'm going to click OK. And so that's what I want. So then I'm just going to, delete all this stuff around it. And so that's a good thing that I did test it out in my drafts. And so I can get rid of this register here. And there we go. It came through. All right, so I can click send. And I don't have any recipients, so I'll make myself a recipient. There, found me, and I'm going to click send. And there we go. It's off and running, and it's going to be in my folder. So that, in a nutshell, is how you create this, where it's going to post on both Slack and create a drafts in your email. Or like I said, you could just make it automatic. So one less thing I have to do every day. Yay! All right, well, I hope you learned something today and you learned how to make your life a little bit easier, saved you some time, and hopefully you can use that extra time to do something that brings you joy. But as you've seen, I like for Zapier to go out, look at my calendar, see what's going on, and send out reminders on my behalf for events. I do it with my daughter's doctor's appointments. There's numerous things you can do here. So I really like this, but I hope you did too as well. So like and subscribe and leave me a comment. Let me know what else you'd like to see. Thanks, and I hope you're having a great day.